It all starts by a calm, still lake, where a boy named Alec sits quietly, holding a fishing rod. Out of nowhere, an odd man in a long coat appears. His name is Eldaz, and he tells Alec that he can teach him magic. Alec agrees, and their lessons begin right away. For the first training, Eldaz sets up a small target and asks Alec to focus hard. He begins telling Alec a detailed story, making it feel like Alec is trapped in a dangerous place, where he has to use magic to protect his friends. Alec believes it. As he focuses more, he creates a burning circle in the air. Eldaz helps him stay calm and tells him to let it go gently. Alec listens, breathes deeply, and releases the fire. It flies straight at the target and hits it. Alec is thrilled. He tells Eldaz it fell harder than he expected. Eldaz smiles and says most people take weeks to learn one spell, but Alec managed it in just one day. This excites Alec even more, and he says he's ready to keep learning. But Eldaz tells him that's enough for now. It's time to rest and fish again. Alec returns to fishing, though he's clearly disappointed. He wants to keep going. Eldaz tells him not to be in such a hurry. With his skill, he'll grow into a great wizard naturally. Alec looks surprised and asks if he even needs Eldaz to train him at all. Eldaz doesn't answer. Suddenly, something tugs hard on Eldaz's fishing line. He helps him pull in the fish, and both of them fall backward from the effort. They land flat on the ground, laughing while the fish flops around in front of them. The next morning, Eldaz hands Alec a book filled with magic symbols and rules. Alec struggles to make sense of it. Seeing this, Eldaz begins explaining the structure behind the spells. Day by day, they study the formulas together. They sit in the sunlight, reading and talking. Time passes. One day, snow begins to fall. Alec stops studying, makes a snowflake in his hand, and flicks it at Eldaz. The two break into a cheerful snowball fight. But the joy doesn't last long. Eldaz tells Alec that he'll be leaving for the capital when summer comes. Alec is shocked and sad. Eldaz warns him not to ever work for the royal court. Alec doesn't understand and asks why Eldaz taught him in the first place. After a long pause, Eldaz explains. It was something he owed to Alec's mother, who passed away. After saying that, he turns and walks away without looking back. Years pass. Alec is now at the Royal Academy of Magic. One day, while reading through student records, he finds Eldaz's name. He learns that Eldaz had been one of the best students ever and became a royal magician, but was later kicked out. Alec feels anger boil inside him. The court had thrown away his teacher. He promises to join the court himself and fix it from within, as a way to honor Eldaz. Later, Alec becomes part of the royal court. After a tough battle, the prince suddenly turns to Alec and fires him on the spot. Stunned, Alec stares at the prince and asks why he's being removed from the group. Regulus calmly tells him to explain what his role in the team is. Alec answers that he's there to assist the prince using magic. But Regulus quickly cuts him off, saying Alec failed to do that during their last fight. He explains how he, as the prince, charges into battle with his sword. Lenny handles destructive spells from the back, and their tank, 9, protects everyone from danger. According to Regulus, Alec's magic boosts and support spells do nothing to help the team. Alec tries to speak up, wanting to explain why he uses the magic he does, but Regulus doesn't let him finish. He insults Alec, calling him weak. Lenny joins in, mocking Alec as well. She accuses him of always acting scared and trying to stay out of harm's way. She says she never liked Alec's timid attitude and only accepted him into the group because Regulus wanted him there. Now that Regulus has spoken out, both Lenny and 9 have no problem pushing Alec out of the team too. Regulus goes on, saying he once believed Alec had real talent because he finished top of his class at the Royal Academy. But now, he thinks Alec must have used money or influence to get there. Alec makes one more attempt to defend himself, but Regulus notices something on his belt, a dagger. He snatches it away and scolds Alec, saying commoners aren't allowed to carry weapons without permission. Alec quietly explains that it was only for self-defense. But Regulus doesn't care. He grabs Alec by the collar, furious. He says that commoners never follow orders and that they're all fools. Alec lowers his head and stays quiet. Then, Regulus rips Alec's magician's cloak off, telling him he no longer deserves to wear it. The prince's words shake Alec deeply, and he stands frozen in silence while the others head into the dungeon without him. Later, Alec returns to his home and studies the dungeon map. He knows that at level 30, the enemies become too strong for Regulus to handle without magical help. Worried, he decides to take action. He travels back to the capital and tries to enter through the gates, but the royal guards stop him. They remind him he's no longer a court magician and that regular citizens aren't allowed inside. While he argues with them, Lenny appears. She wastes no time throwing insults at Alec, bringing up rumors that he once reached level 67 in a dungeon. She laughs and says he must have made that up to seem impressive. As she turns to leave, Alec walks forward, trying to follow her, but the guards block his path. He pulls out a scroll and begs Lenny to give it to the prince. She stops, glances back, and takes it. For a moment, Alec thinks she'll help, but instead, she smirks, tears the scroll into pieces, and drops it at his feet. Without another word, she tells the guards to throw him out. After that, Alec heads back to town, heartbroken. He feels like he failed. Despite 4 years of trying, he couldn't change the court. As he stands there, a familiar voice calls out. It's Yura, his old party leader. She sees him and runs over, wrapping him in a hug. The two of them sit together, and Alec slowly begins to share everything that's happened. Seeing how down Alec looks, Yura starts to get upset about how unfair the royal court in Galana really is. She talks angrily about how obsessed the court is with keeping nobles and commoners apart. Alec grows tense, worried someone might overhear them. But Yura shrugs it off, reminding him they're alone. And then, with a softer voice, she brings up everything he's been through. Alec tells her he'll be okay, but instead of pity, Yura actually seems pleased that he got kicked out of the prince's party. This confuses Alec. He looks at her, puzzled. That's when Yura reminds him of something she said long ago. That one day, she would bring him back to her team. She says she came all the way to the capital just for that reason. She stands up and asks if he'll join her again. Alec doesn't answer, still frozen in disbelief. So she repeats the offer, adding that she needs his abilities now more than ever. Feeling overwhelmed, Alec says the court cast him aside because he was seen as useless. But Yura just laughs. She tells him it doesn't matter at all. In fact, her whole team has been waiting for him to come back. She says that if he wants, he could even aim to return to the court someday. She believes he still has that potential. Alec's eyes begin to water. He stands up to accept her offer, and Yura gives him a smile, welcoming him back to their top-ranked party, lasting period. As she holds his hands, Alec feels warmth inside, the comfort of returning to the people who always believed in him. The two of them begin their journey back home together. Later, while Alec dozes off in the carriage, a dream of Eldaz's warning echoes in his mind. Never become a court magician. When he wakes, Yura tells him they're still a little far from Fizzle. Alec nods but stays awake. Yura notices and asks what's wrong. He explains that everything unfolded just like Eldaz warned, then goes quiet, lost in thought. Meanwhile, back in the capital, Prince Regulus hears from Lenny that Alec has officially left the kingdom and become a full-time adventurer. Regulus laughs, mocking Alec for ever calling himself the greatest genius from the academy. He thinks Alec ran away because he was afraid. Lenny, cheerful, hands the prince a drink to toast their newest teammate, a gifted noble from Duke Fornius's family. Regulus raises his glass, takes a sip, and laughs loudly, while Lenny gazes at him with a grin, as if the two of them already believe they'll conquer the entire dungeon with ease. Far from the capital, Alec and Yura finally reach Fizzle. Alec feels at peace, surrounded by fellow adventurers. Yura tells him they'll be heading into a dungeon west of the city. But first, she needs to get him signed up at the Adventurers Guild. When they arrive, the guild's receptionist tells them they'll need a special permit to go beyond the 30th floor. She also explains that only adventurers who've been registered for at least 2 years can apply for it. Yura looks annoyed and asks why Kra, one of her team members, didn't get the permit earlier. The receptionist says Kra tried to force the guild to hand it over by threatening them. Embarrassed, Yura covers her face. Later, she and Alec grab something to eat. Still annoyed, Yura grumbles while biting into her sandwich. She says they can't afford to wait 2 whole years just to reach the 52nd floor of the dungeon. But after finishing her food, her mood improves. She decides they'll explore easier sections first to warm up. Alec is surprised, but Yura explains that it'll help prepare them for the bigger fights later on. Feeling encouraged again, Yura stands and tells Alec to enjoy the moment. They're now in the legendary city of dungeons. After their meal, the two head off toward a dungeon, where they quickly find themselves surrounded by a swarm of monster bugs. Yura casts a protective spell on Alec as he dashes forward and slashes down a group of the insect-like creatures. She smiles, pleased by how well they're working together, though she finds it strange how tough this beginner dungeon has become. The bugs keep multiplying quickly, and Alec points out that something must have gone wrong in the lower parts of the dungeon. Yura casts another shield spell on herself and moves ahead. Alec warns her it's dangerous, but she keeps walking, confident. She tells him he's not as bold as he used to be. Yura reminds him that he was never one to run away from monsters and tells him to trust her instincts this time. As more creatures pile onto Yura's shield, Alec feels stuck, watching helplessly. But then it hits him. He's no longer stuck in the palace, serving a spoiled prince. That old pressure is gone. Now he's free to fight how he wants, for people who actually matter to him. Reassured by this, Alec focuses his energy, gathering magic. Yura glances back and sees him concentrating deeply. Moments later, he releases a powerful burst of fire that sweeps across the room and burns all the bugs into ash. Yura is thrilled to see Alec's fighting spirit return. Just as she smiles, Alec quickly turns to wipe out more enemies sneaking up behind her. Suddenly, the cave begins to tremble as an entire wave of bugs surrounds them. Yura raises a large protective field around them, and Alec begins charging an even bigger spell. With a loud chant, he drops a thunderbolt spell that completely wipes out the entire swarm. As silence falls over the room, Alec lets out a breath, and Yura praises his effort. But just as they begin to relax, the ground bursts open. A giant worm beast shoots up from below and grabs Yura in its jaws. Alec quickly figures out what's going on. The worm must be the real reason the other creatures were so aggressive. As Yura hangs trapped in the monster's teeth, Alec shouts that she still has the best support magic from their academy days. She nods with a grin, saying that Alec's attack spells were always the strongest. With Yura's support magic boosting him, Alec calls forth a flaming dragon that swirls above his wand. He begins chanting the spell Blazing Tornado and fires it straight at the creature. The fiery dragon dives, devouring the worm in one blow and turning it to ashes. Yura, protected inside her magical barrier, lands safely on the ground. She runs over to Alec, and he compliments her timing and skill. She tells him that, in her eyes, he's the strongest magician alive. Alec looks down, blushing at the compliment. Yura laughs and says he hasn't changed at all. It feels just like the old days. A little while later, Yura's team faces a dangerous battle against a massive hydra. The knight in the party strikes with his spear, but the attack bounces right off the monster's thick skin. As he tries to fall back, the team's archer draws attention away from him. The knight yells at her, upset she stepped in. They begin arguing. Before they can settle down, one of the hydra's heads spits a huge ball of fire at them. Yura reacts fast, casting an ice wall to block it. But another head releases a lightning blast. She blocks it with an earth shield, but the double effort drains her energy fast. As hope begins to fade, Alec appears behind them and calls out. The team turns, relieved. Alec combines all 5 magical elements into a single, overwhelming spell that tears straight through the hydra, bringing it down. Excited to see him again, the entire party runs to meet Alec. With this victory, they've now cleared floor 68, setting a new record. The party of lasting period prepares to head deeper, ready to chase their next great achievement, together. Here's the end of episode 1. Stay tuned to watch the next part as soon as it's out. Green apples.